That was me jumping in early. We'll find joy in the morning.
Wait a minute, I forgot the song.
Okay.
Whoops.
Kevin, sing loud, because I don't know this one.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
We'll find joy in the morning. Joy in the morning. Joy in the morning. In the morning we'll find joy. We find hope in our children. Hope in our children. Hope in our children. In our children we find hope. We find strength in each other. Strength in each other. Strength in each other. In each other we find strength. There is love all around us. Love all around us. Love all around us. All around us. There is love. We'll find hope in the morning. Joy in the morning. Joy in the morning. In the morning we'll find joy. Thank you. Good morning. And like it says, with the first service, it's fun to see the seasonal colors appearing in people's clothing and outfits and hats even. I'm the Reverend Kevin Tarsif. We haven't met yet. We sing of joy this morning because we need a bit of joy. Yes, and also because among some of our Christian neighbors, this is the third Sunday of Advent, the middle of the season of anticipation, this season of anticipating what is to come, the way we might frame it, anticipating what is to be born in our lives. This third Sunday of Advent is known as Gaudete Sunday, after the Latin word for rejoice. And so it's this move from the first couple weeks, which are more introspective, to this sense of a joyfulness. And by tradition, the candle on the third Sunday is pink or rose instead of purple or blue, right? So it shifts colors on this third Sunday with this theme of joy in the Advent season. And this evening at sundown, Hanukkah will begin for our Jewish neighbors. And so we have a menorah on our altar as well, though we will not light a candle on that yet because it's not time yet. Not till this evening at sundown. So Hanukkah is actually a very minor holiday in Judaism, but its prominence has been heightened because it arrives in the midst of so very much Christmas. In essence, Hanukkah celebrates religious freedom, perseverance under intense persecution, miracles, and an enduring spark of hope and faith against overwhelming odds. And so in Unitarian Universalist fashion, we'll find our own take on perseverance and joy and choosing hope this morning. Respectful of our neighbors, our own personal religious past, because a number of us come from one of those traditions, we recognize the menorah and we light the first 3 Advent candles today, including the rose-colored candle, marking the possibility of joy both now and to come. To be continued. So I invite us all to silence our cell phones. Now would be our chance, this weekly ritual, this new weekly ritual in our lives. And it's okay to actually pull it out and check. That's perfectly fine. And I invite us to take a deep breath as we prepare to say hello to the people around us. Prepared to notice how we feel most drawn to say hello, but also prepared to notice how the other person might want to be greeted this morning, using all our awareness and resources. I invite us to take advantage of this marvelous moment to say hello to the people around us, including on Zoom. Yeah, come on up, Nick. Thanks, everyone. Mick Hayes offers our land acknowledgement this morning.
Thank you. This is our land acknowledgement. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty, and may hope forever wipe away your tears. These are the words of Chief Dan George, chief of the Tsleil-Waututh, British Columbia nation. Here we live on the ancient homelands of the Nisenan people. The land was brutally and illegally taken from them and their people, systematically erased. Through many years of suffering, they never lost their hope for reclaiming their land and keeping their culture alive. By harnessing hope with action, the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe has recently been able to purchase a small part of their land through their homeland return projects. Their hopes today center on using this land to provide housing for their elders and to revitalize their culture through youth education, art, and proven environmental practices. They continue to pursue federal recognition to help restore self-sufficiency and offer access to vital programs.
Just about that.
Oh, thank you. With this basket of acorns from the black oak tree, we pledge our support for all their efforts, under their guidance and at their request. Oops.
Good morning. Hope is an act of resistance by Reverend Michelle Collins. In times when despair feels reasonable and cynicism seems wise, we gather to practice radical hope. Not passive waiting, but active defiance against forces that would diminish our humanity. Together, we choose hope as resistance, imagination as rebellion, and love as our most revolutionary act. Come, let us worship together.
Thank you, Katie. This is Katie Iani. Thanks for offering our chalice lighting. Today it serves also as the words for our candle of compassion, resistance, and resilience. And there's a box here. Every week it's a different box. Fancy one this time. Okay, I wonder I wonder what's in here. Oh, a little bit familiar. A menorah and candles to go with. Oh, please come tell me what you did with these later. Is there someone who would like to carry this box up to Kids Connection? Ruby's right here and ready. Perfect. And we would love to sing as you are on your way.
Good morning. On this third Sunday of Advent, as we continue our December theme of choosing hope. As you've heard, it so happens that the third Advent candle represents joy. So we will be talking about hope and joy today. In case that sounds just a little bit too warm and fuzzy for the way you're feeling, let me assure you, it's a lot more rigorous than that. Have you ever known Unitarian Universalists to take the easy path? I'm Cheryl Morris, serving as your worship associate this morning, welcoming all to the Unitarian Universalist community of the mountains. Hope seems to be one of those words that some find simplistic and saccharine, while others find deeply motivating. There are many serious thinkers who had a lot to say on the subject. I'm thinking of Joanna Macy in her book, Act of Hope, and Donna Ashworth, who wrote Wild Hope. Then there's the psychologist Martin Seligman with his book, The Hope Circuit, and Viktor Frankl's Embracing Hope. And let's not forget a young up-and-coming politician who gave us the audacity of hope. All these writers make it clear that hope isn't a lightweight thing or for the faint of heart. Activist and educator Marianne Kaba says, "When I would feel overwhelmed by what was going on in the world, I would just say to myself, hope is a discipline. It's less about how you feel and more about the practice of making a decision every day that you're going to put one foot in front of the other. It's work to be hopeful, and you have to hold fast to having a vision. It's a hard thing to maintain, but it matters to have it, to believe that it's possible to change the world." Let's take a look at hope, and maybe we'll find some joy together as well on this December morning. Welcome.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see everybody here. These are opening words by Howard Zinn from his autobiography, You Can't Be Neutral on a Moving Train. And Zinn was an historian and a civil rights activist during the Vietnam War. And he writes, "To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It's based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act in however small a way, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad that's around us, that is itself a marvelous victory. So take hope.
Thank you, Chuck. And in that spirit, I invite us to sing one of the new songs from the Unitarian Universalist hymn book, which is now all virtual. So the lovely thing is that songs can come in at any time and move out at any time. So we're going to sample this one together. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to sing "We Shine Our Light." We'll get a chance to hear it before we sing. We shine our light in search of hope. We shine our light in search of hope. Each path is our own, but we're not alone. We shine our light in search of hope. We shine our light in search of love. We shine our light in search of love. Each path is our own, but we're not alone. We shine our light in search of love. We shine our light in search of truth. We shine our light in search of truth. Each path is our own, but we're not alone. We shine our light in search of truth. We shine our light in search of peace. We shine our light in search of peace. Each path is our own, but we're not alone. We shine our light in search of peace. We shine our light in search of hope. We shine our light in search of hope. Each path is our own, but we're not alone. We shine our light in search of hope. Thank you. In the past couple weeks, the violent attack on a person of color as he was going about his job surfaced more widespread awareness of a group of teens who have been attacking and terrorizing their peers and others for several years, such that students and others have been too afraid to speak up or to take action. In fact, they've been actively threatened not to do so. And the outrage around this has already begun to set in motion a collaborative concern among us as citizens, as well as among community leaders and law enforcement, a shared holy impatience, as we'll talk about later, in ways that UUCM members and friends are well poised to continue investing in, and that I hope will lead ultimately to meaningful growth and change and a safer community for all, including and especially those who are perceived and portrayed as other in some way. One of the next events will be a town hall in early January being organized by Color Me Human and officials from the cities of Grass Valley and Nevada City. I invite you to watch for word about that from your justice team. All of this and a whole lot more adds to the sense that so many of us have been carrying in our bodies, that these are troubled and troubling times, a world on fire. We feel it when we encounter the news in almost any form. We feel it in conversations that end more sharply than we intended or that don't happen at all. We feel it in the weariness that lingers even after rest. I think every age is probably troubled in its own ways, but there appear to be these very long recurring human cycles, and ours is a time of very deep uncertainty, deep disruption, sanctioned violence, intense strain on our democratic institutions, frightening economic pressures on families, and loneliness and anxiety becoming common companions. For many of us, the future may feel less like an open door in front of us and more like a narrowing hallway. And yet, here we are. We have gathered. We have chosen to show up, to light a flame, to breathe together, to move forward with purchasing a new physical home, no less. And through it all, to ask ourselves an ancient and enduring question. How do we live faithfully? How do we live well when the world feels so, insert your word here. How do we live faithfully? How do we live well when the world feels so broken, scary, disgusting, divided, desperate, overwhelming, mean, messed up? Sorry? Lacking compassion and something from the back? Ridiculous. Out of sync. Cruel. Unbalanced. Chaotic. Wow, we have a lot of words. Yeah. What? Crazy. How do we live faithfully? How do we live well when the world feels so? So this morning, in the midst of everything, in the midst of all of it, we will dare to speak of hope. Not shallow optimism, not denial, not a wish that everything will magically turn out fine, but hope as a choice, hope as a practice, hope as a moral commitment, especially in troubling times. Choosing hope is, in fact, a spiritual practice, and indeed something we actually have to practice, something that we undertake for our own sake and for the sake of our world and community. And as several of you have pointed out to me, not everyone is fond of the concept of hope. For some, it's a little too something. So let's start maybe by clearing one thing up, that hope is not the same as optimism. Two different things. Optimism says, things will probably be okay. That's me. I'm an optimistic person. I expect things will probably be okay. Optimism says things will probably be okay. Hope says, even if things are not okay, I will choose to act with love, with care, with courage. Optimism says things will probably be okay. Hope says, even if they're not, I will choose to act with love, with courage, with care. Optimism is about the outcomes, how it's going to turn out. Hope is about an orientation we have, a stance we take, an orientation to what is. And I love the way theologian Rebecca Solnit puts it. This is so memorable to me. She writes, hope is not a lottery ticket you sit on the couch clutching. Hope is an axe you break down doors with in an emergency. Hope is not a lottery ticket you sit on the couch clutching. Hope is an axe you break down doors with in an emergency. I love this, even though I'm a person who likes things to be calm and easy. Thank you. Our description for the service shared the insights of the authors of our Soul Matters materials, the materials we use to explore our theme each month. They wrote, hope doesn't just whisper, it'll be different. It also shouts, it should be different. It can be different. In other words, hope doesn't just promise us that change will come in some grand future. It also says that hope changes who we are in the present. It's an orientation we can choose, and that changes who we are right now. They named this, our Soul Matters authors, named this sense of hope a holy impatience, an awareness that the world should and can be different. And this is what the local parents of teenagers who've been attacked are offering to this wider community, a holy impatience. They waited for a while, they turned in information, no response, nothing happening, no response. So several months later, several of them came forward and said, we're just going to tell the world, right? A holy impatience. And this is what we celebrate woven with joy this morning, our own holy impatience for all the things we might be impatient for. Because hope is not passive. Hope is not naive. Hope does not require certainty. Hope requires choice. In the words of Miriam Kaba that we heard from Cheryl a bit ago, and Miriam is an American abolitionist, organizer, educator. Her focus is on ending youth incarceration and on dismantling the prison industrial complex. That's her focus. It was Miriam who said, hope is less about how you feel and more about the practice of making a decision every day that you're still going to put one foot in front of the other. It's this very grounded, pragmatic thing, not something elusive and out there. And choice matters most, I think, when the future is unclear. That's when it really matters, right? When the choices we make. When evidence is mixed, maybe, when the times are troubled and troubling, and when despair would be perfectly understandable. Despair is perfectly understandable. One of the reasons many of us struggle maybe with hope at the moment is because we're paying attention. We know too much, we have seen too much, and we're tired. I've been thinking often lately of those of you who've been on the front lines of social justice efforts your entire life, and here we are, There's a particular exhaustion that comes from caring deeply about a world that seems resistant to change. A fatigue that comes from holding grief after grief without enough time to heal. A weariness that whispers, what difference does it make? Right? That's accumulated grief. As our chalice lighting words pointed out, when hope feels costly like that, then cynicism can start to look like wisdom. Like the wise thing is to be cynical. But cynicism is not wisdom. Cynicism is armor. And armor may protect us from disappointment, yes, but it also keeps us from feeling many more welcome feelings. And it keeps us from love. So cynicism is an armor we use to protect. To actually choose hope in the midst of everything going on, to make hopeful choices day by day, is not to ignore reality. It's to refuse to let reality have the final word over us. Our UU faith tradition, with this wide openness to this range of spiritual and non-spiritual perspectives and paths, does not promise salvation from suffering. It never has. What our tradition promises above all is companionship within the journey, is companionship in the midst of the suffering. It doesn't promise relief from suffering. It promises companionship in the midst of it. It's difficult, and some would say it's actually impossible to sustain hope all by ourselves. And in a community such as this, at our best, when one of us is tired, another person picks up the flame. When one of us despairs, somebody else reminds us of our values. When one of us forgets our own worth, someone else speaks it aloud for us. After the first service, Claire Lee pointed out that the 30-somethings around her are feeling very despondent. Like, why bother? And she says she's taken it on as her practice to hold hope for them while they can't. We've talked about this around grief. When someone's really deep in grief and cannot hold hope, simply cannot, the rest of us can hold hope for them until they can pick it back up again. And she named this generational piece, at least in her circle, that I think is really quite profound, that for some of us who can hold hope, we might be needing to hold it for others. And every time we gather, this gathering on Sunday morning, this one right here, and every time, is not merely just a gathering. It's not merely just getting together. It's also, by its nature, a practice of hope. Actually doing this together is to practice hope. Every time we sing together, even when our voices tremble, we practice hope. Every time we make room for differences without breaking our relationships, we practice hope. Every time we imagine a more just world and take even one small step toward it, we practice hope. What is perhaps unique in Unitarian Universalism is the extent to which our tradition and orientation to existence places responsibility not in the hands of fate and not in the hands of divine intervention, but in our own choices. Our tradition places responsibility in the hands of our choices. So hope, then, in our tradition is not something that we wait for. It's something that we practice. To choose hope is to say, I will not give up on the possibility of goodness in the world or in an individual. I will not surrender my compassion. To choose hope is to say, I will not let despair determine my actions. Philosopher, theologian, and activist Cornel West, writing from his own experience as a black man in the United States, captures very succinctly what we've heard from several wise voices today already, that hope is a verb. Hope is something we do, not something we have. In other words, we don't have to wait to have it. We don't have to wait for it to arrive magically. Hope is something we do. Hope is a verb. Hope shows up when we vote, even when we're discouraged. Hope shows up when we keep showing up for community, even after being disappointed. Hope shows up when we teach our children kindness in a world that rewards cruelty. Hope shows up when we tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Hope doesn't deny suffering, rather, hope refuses to cooperate with hopelessness. It's tempting to imagine hope as something very large and dramatic, a sweeping victory, a decisive turning point, a moment when everything changes. But most real hope is much smaller than that. This is what the wise ones remind us, that hope is checking on a neighbor. Hope is bringing food to someone who is grieving. Hope is listening without trying to fix. Oh, that's a hard one. Hope is choosing not to pass along cruelty, even when it's disguised as humor. Hope is resting when the culture tells you to burn out. Meaning that hope often looks like tending rather than triumph. It's like tending, not the big sweeping thing, but the way we tend each other. We tend the fires of hope by tending each other. And so hope lives then in these very small daily acts that say, this life matters, this person matters, I matter. And we can't speak completely about hope without speaking also about grief, which is why I name grief here so often. Grief for what we've lost or are losing. Choosing hope doesn't ask us to deny or rush past or through that grief. Hope asks us instead to hold our grief with a whole lot of tenderness, a whole lot of self-compassion for having it, with no rush around it. And hope that is passed through that kind of tender holding, through that kind of grief, is a deeper hope, is a more humble hope, is a more resilient hope, if we put those two together, if we understand that the grief and the hope belong together. There is a kind of hope that I heard often when I was doing my training as a chaplain in seminary, a hope that says, everything happens for a reason. And I know that that idea brings comfort to many, many people. But it is not usually our hope. Our hope says, some things should never have happened. Our hope says some things should never have happened, and still we choose to love this world and to act from that love. Despite it all, we choose to love this world and to act from that love. So what's that asking of us these days, in these, our own particular troubling times? As always, I think it asks us to stay awake to reality, to suffering, but also to beauty, to joy, to goodness. It asks us, I think, in a very important way to stay connected to each other, to our own deepest self, to the world, to our own understanding of what's most real and important. It asks us to stay engaged even when the work feels endless. And oh, it feels endless. Recognizing that we need rest within the journey too. That's important. And ultimately to stay engaged. And hope worth choosing. In our tradition, there is an understanding from our Unitarian ancestors that God would expect us to use our brains. God would expect us to use our discernment, even to decide whether God was worthy. Right? He would expect us to use our reason to decide whether God is worthy. In a similar way, hope that's worth choosing asks us to be brave in really ordinary ways, to speak with care to each other, to others, to act with integrity, to love without guarantees, to trust that kindness has consequences, even if we don't see them right away, to tend one another. Hope asks us not to confuse exhaustion with defeat, to remember that history is shaped not only by moments of collapse, but by countless acts of persistence, as we heard in the Howard Zinn reading. Hope asks us to believe that what we do still matters. That's the bottom line. Hope asks us to believe that what we do still matters, not because the evidence says so, but because we're going to make a choice to do so. And oh, my people, these are troubled and troubling times. They are also our times. This is what we got. Here we are. We didn't choose the moment we're born into, but we do choose always how we live within our particular moment. So may we choose hope, not as a feeling, but as a practice. Not something we wait for, but something we choose. May we choose hope not because it's easy, but because it's faithful. It helps us live well. And maybe, I think in a very important way, may we choose hope not alone, not all by ourselves, but choose hope together. And may our day-to-day choices ultimately make room for a human world that is more just, that is more compassionate, that maybe is more alive than the one we have inherited. So may we be. So may we be. I realize I just presented hope with a sigh. Let's choose hope. In our Joys and Sorrows ritual each week, we invite people to take stock of what's inside, what we're carrying, who we're carrying. Today I invite you to also weigh your hopes in this. Not your, it's probably going to turn out okays, but you might need an axe to break the door down. Hopes. So I invite you to let your body be at ease. And I'm one of those people who needs to listen to my body to really know what's going on. So in case that's you, I invite you to notice for a second. Just to scan your body and notice what you feel where, in any direction. Maybe it's tightness. Maybe it's ease. Maybe it's warmth or coolness or hardness or softness or hurting or a buzz. I want you to listen into your body and what you notice. And if you move your attention in particular to the area around your heart, or maybe it's the area around your low gut, what is mattering to you this morning? What elation, what joy, what worry, what friend or family member or spouse or child or parent seems present there? What aspect of the world you seem to be holding there? And in the music, in the silence, in the holding each other, in the prayers that you offer in your own heart, I invite us to hold each other as we take time to honor all of it. Our joys, our sorrows, our genuine hopes, and everything in between. I shared also in the earlier service how wonderful it is to be held by the music. Thank you. Thank you, Linda, very much. The prayer that I really want to share with you this morning is a wonderful, reverently irreverent, and moving prayer, as all her work is, by Nadia Bowles-Weber. She titled it, "A Shitty Little Prayer for Gloomy Thinkers." I don't have permission to share it, which some of you may be glad for. And I'll do my best to remember to post it in my column this week, a link to it, because she's just marvelous. But to give you the spirit of this, it begins, "Dear God, I woke up today exhausted after a full night's sleep. My 90-minute walk did not revive me, and a nice breakfast with lots of protein didn't seem to do the trick either. And before you ask, yes, I'm fully hydrated, Lord." She goes on, with a touch of profanity, to list her worries and concerns for life and what's going on in the world, concerns you and I would very much relate to. And in her prayers, she talks to God about her attempts to redirect her focus from all those things toward gratitude, toward trying to be in the moment, toward hope in our language today. And she names to God how much energy this is taking to try to redirect her attention to gratitude and to being in the present moment. And she concludes at the end of the prayer, "What I'm trying to say, God, is that if you could help me pivot my restless brain from gloom to gladness, even just like 10% faster, that could make a huge difference. Oh, and thanks for this day. And everything beautiful in my life that I did not earn or create. And for dogs. And flowers. Amen." So here's to invite our prayer, each in our own way, in all the ways that people here pray and don't pray, to all the divinities and entities and realities to which or to whom we pray or don't pray, to ask for support. I invite us into a prayer for support to help us pivot our restless brains from gloom to gladness, even just like 10% faster. To find the energy and courage to practice hope, not all the way or all the time, but maybe 10% more of the time, knowing that it could make a huge difference. Oh, and to express thanks for this day and everything beautiful in our lives that we did not earn or create. And for dogs. And your creature of choice. And each other. And flowers. Amen.
Hope. What does it even mean when you have no place to live? When you are cold and wet and sick and hungry and alone? As you heard in last week's service, UUCM and member Utah Phillips were instrumental in starting the very first local homeless shelter. It has grown into multiple programs under the umbrella of Hospitality House. They offer ongoing services once immediate needs are met. It's a stunning example of hope transformed into action. This month, Hospitality House will receive 50% of our offerings. The other 50% stays right here at UUCM to support the work of this community. It helps to maintain the building, pay the staff, and keep the lights on. Our hope is to be, both literally and metaphorically, a beacon of light in what are dark times for many. As the offering baskets are passed, the slide will tell you additional ways to give. And please also check out the Hospitality House website. And we have some more beautiful music from Linda. Thank you for your generosity during this season of giving. We dedicate your gifts to doing all we can, as often as we can, in all the ways we can, to sustaining hope for all who need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl, for being worship associate today, and Linda for the music. In a special way, I want to thank today our arts and aesthetics team. These are the people who, among other things, are responsible for the setting each Sunday. Robin creates the banner. This is just created the new one where we name the theme and give an image, and she creates the banner and has it made for us. The team purchased and decorated the tree, beautiful, with programmable lights. Like on a spectrum, you can make those exactly the color you want. Either all ones or two different colors. So today we're blue and white in honor of Hanukkah, as well as the tree. But a beautiful setting, right? I named before that being raised in the Catholic Church. One of the things that was so helpful for me as a child is there's so much visual stimulus. There's so much to look at, and to have something for my eyes to wander over during the Mass, or while I was bored, was really helpful, right? And so I appreciate something that gives my eyes something to attend to. So thanks to our arts and aesthetics team. I think they're mostly at the first service. Is anyone here who's on the arts and aesthetics team? Oh, Yvonne is, yes. Yvonne's one of our altar creators. Thank you. I invite the rest of us, especially those of us who know who's who, or even if you don't know, if there's someone who did something today in the front, the back, with the refreshments, anywhere, to make a point to choose one person you're going to go thank afterwards. Go ahead and make a commitment. I'm going to seek that person out. I'm going to say a meaningful thank you, and exactly why I'm appreciative. Got yours? Whether you know a name or not, I invite you to do that. And a few announcements of what's coming up. So after the service today, we'll have our UU 101, which is a basic introduction to this tradition and congregation. Normally we'd be in the library, but there's an art opening reception there today, so we'll be assuming everyone can make stairs, which is one of the reasons for a new home. Assuming everyone can make stairs, we'll meet in my office upstairs for them. The holiday bazaar is going on. Come check out, see if there are any goodies you want for gifts or for yourself. Next week, that bazaar turns to focus on food as well, the bake sale next week. So you are invited to bring things for the bake sale and to bring your money too, to buy some things and utilize your freezer well to stack up on some goodies for the holidays. Next, Cypress, yeah. So just so you're clued in on what's happening around the holidays, next Sunday is actually solstice that day. The morning services will be focused around the theme of solstice, but we also in the evening have our usual evening solstice celebration with the flame in the cauldron and starting with the dark lighting and all. So that's at 7 on next Sunday night. Christmas Eve, we'll have a 5 o'clock service that's kind of a familiar Christmas service with carols and words for an hour. And then later at 8 o'clock that evening, we're doing a singing meditation service. This is for quiet, meditative chanting, singing with silence, and also some spoken words, but a much more meditative experience. That'll be at 8 o'clock. And the following day, we host a Christmas potluck for anyone who wants to be here. That'll be at 2 o'clock. And what I would name is for some of these services and for that potluck, we could use some assistance. So Catherine Young, who's been organizing the potluck for years, actually gets to go do things with her family this year. So if you have any availability and interest in coming help set up a little early or decorating the tables because that's your thing, or helping clean up, I'd be glad to know that, either me or Laura Harder. So that would be helpful. And one of the things we in church arenas, religious community arenas, lament is that people will want to know what's going on, but then say, oh, but I don't read the newsletter. I invite you to read the newsletter. Scan it for the things that are important to you. Website's another place, but that's where we put information so you can find out what's happening. For our closing song, I invite us to sing a song that we would normally sing at the beginning of a service. Right? It has this sense of welcome, come in, everybody. But I invite us to sing it today with that sense of kind of inviting this choosing of hope, right? Inviting that. And the original words that we typically sing are, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. In other words, ours is a caravan of choosing hope. Come, yet again, come. But my Muslim colleagues tell me this song is incomplete, and in fact asked us not to do it with just that, without the rest, another piece of the Rumi, which says that come even though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. In Islam, mercy is critical. The sense of mercy is important in Islam. And they said, please, always include this if you're going to include the first part of the Rumi. So what we'll do is we'll sing Come, Come, Whoever You Are a few times, and then we'll sing Though You've Broken Your Vows 1,000 times a few times, and then we'll sing them at the same time. You get to choose which one you sing. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to invite the choosing of hope into your own life. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come. You choose. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. You've broken your vows 1,000 times. Come yet again, come. You've broken your vows 1,000 times. Come yet again, come. On the home. The wisdom of Reverend Michelle Collins again from the beginning. In times when despair feels reasonable and cynicism seems wise, we gather to practice radical hope. Not passive waiting, but active defiance against forces that would diminish our humanity. Together, we choose hope as resistance. We choose imagination as rebellion. And we choose love as our most revolutionary act. Oh, my friends, may it be so. May it be ever more so. And with that, we'll extinguish the chalice, but take all this goodness as we go to the bazaar and refreshments with these words. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. We'll see you next Sunday for solstice, unless you're traveling. Traveling mercies to you. It may be a rich holiday season.